So this is GigHQ. Again, the fundamental premise is it's a CRM for job seekers. So essentially, what you get is some data on kind of how you're performing, quick snapshot of kind of how you're progressing. You can obviously kind of slice and dice based on kind of different time units, and then we kind of give you a calendar view. So this is my production data. So don't have any interviews in there, but if you were to look, for example, on the test data, what would happen is as we get different information for the user, you'll be able to see that. So essentially, again, it's like each user gets the equivalent of an inbox, right? So I have an email address that I use for my account, and so as you kind of progress, it organizes everything for you. The interviews and things show up in here as well. It reminds you of those. It does the summary on kind of how you've progressed so far, and then kind of what next steps are. So all of that's in here. The active applications kind of keeps track of all the applications that you currently have active. Based on user feedback, actually, we just added this feature this week where you can now create a company and a title, and essentially in prospecting status. So kind of before you have applied, to be able to start doing things like send an email to context outreach and keep track of your engagement with those with the company, etc. And then the archived applications is where anything that has been inactive but been had not received engagement for 4 weeks goes into the archived as a pending status, and then another 4 weeks it goes into rejected. So we kind of auto reject, assuming that there's no responses. But the big part of the application, of course, is the company and job data. And so what we do is we're aggregating based on what we're seeing from our users, anonymizing, aggregating which companies, which jobs, kind of what we've seen, how people are progressing, how many days they're in different stages, et cetera, which again is data you actually can't find anywhere else. And you can do it at the company level. And of course, then you dig into the company and then it kind of gives you the links, et cetera. But you can also go into the details of the job itself and kind of see, what the statuses are, how many people have applied, and so on. I think the one we have the most evidence for currently is Figma. So Figma, I think we've seen a number of jobs, not in the past month, but if you switch this to the past year, you'll see that kind of what the how it's broken down. And then most recently, we also posted our own job. And so you'll see that is in here also. And then for that job, we currently have 46 applied. We're actually in process to start interviewing some people this week. So we're going to start, you'll see some kind of move over. But essentially, how many days they've been in that stage, and then as they go through, how far they get. The other part of this is, of course, as people are looking for work, they sign up for Indeed, LinkedIn, etc. You end up getting a lot of job alerts, and our system will start separating those out, so you don't have to um, add filters to your own inbox, etc., and it doesn't jam up your actual active applications. You really want to focus on active applications, and so we kind of add some AI logic to understand other extra emails and kind of separate those out. But you can also, the same thing would apply for if I had used my GigHQ email on Workday, password resets, etc., all come through here just fine. Everything is clickable, linkable. Um, Going back to the applications, the reason to set up active applications is because now you can start doing email. So as I said, each user gets an inbox, and so pretty much a full functioning email system. This is the prod system, so I'll show you kind of the dev system. But essentially, you kind of do the application, and you kind of get the response, and then you kind of go back and forth. You can respond to the person, etc. So it says, hey, I want to this is my availability, so I replied from here. It pulls in the twos and the CCs and all that, and you can kind of do that. You can set an email signature also, add an attachment, etc. The other thing we did based on feedback from our users was the ability to attach a document, right? So once you do an application, now you want to know, hey, which resume, which cover letter did I use, so it stays in one place. The other thing we're doing with the Chrome extension is we're also going to include the job description and also the link back to the job page. So all that is coming. So that's kind of the big part of kind of the application itself, driven by application tracking, company data, job data. We also have now a set of free tools. So if you go to our website, number one is that on the website also, our premise is that we want to make sure that everyone has access to the company job data. So whether you're using us for tracking or not, you still have access to the job data. You don't have to sign up for an account. You can just go to our website and you can do your research, right? So if you want to know whether a company is responding to someone, etc., you come here and do that. So again, the equivalent of the Market Watch and Bloomberg of job data. But we also have our free tools, and this is part of our acquisition strategy. So we have Resume Rank, which is a resume writing tool. We have Cover Genius for cover letters. We have Outreach Agent, which we're actually really proud of. Outreach Agent will help you um, identify people to reach out to at that company. So what it's essentially doing is, you give it a company name and a title, and if you have the job link in the description, you can add that, and you can add some filter criteria. So you might want to say, hey, only UT Austin alums or something like that. It'll help you specifically find those. It does it through Google searches and LinkedIn, etc. And so again, kind of evidence of the what we were saying. So you can obviously do your research either in the app or on our www website. But the power of this platform is if you add the Chrome extension, now as you go from job page to job page, is already in context showing you kind of what it knows about the job. So that makes it super powerful. And then once you've created your GigHQ profile, right? So you basically start by uploading a resume, and it does your information. It does work experience, education, etc., professional links. Now what you do is you get a one click on, you hit the candidate match score, and you essentially get this is you get a fundamental mismatch because this is a job for an intern. But essentially what you get is a match score, and you get the feedback that you would get from a coach. Requirements that are in the job, your strengths, gaps that exist, keyword matching. And then this is kind of the big part is it basically uses all of this in the suggestions that it's giving you by kind of sharing those with you, but it's essentially applying those and taking the job description and taking your profile and generating a best fit resume that it thinks makes sense for this opportunity. And then there's another version of this where we're working on giving the user options with a few templates so they can download different versions, etc. But right now there's one template for the Word or the PDF, and you get that and you kind of move on. But essentially, what we've got is a end-to-end tool that allows you to manage your job search, keep track of, do the resume, cover letter, have your profile, have this kind of view, which a lot of our users are actually, checking this either the night before or on the weekends on their phone because they want to know, hey, what am I expected to do next? What is what's coming up next? What actions do I have? And as we kind of make this smarter, we're going to add follow-up steps in here. Interviews obviously already coming into here. Post-interview feedback surveys, the post-interview kind of response to say thank you for hey interview, etc., etc. All of that will be built into this tool, which right now where we kind of put the free tools out to showcase those capabilities, but that'll include Resume Rank, Cover Genius, Outreach Agent, Profile Spark, etc. So that's kind of the end-to-end piece of it from a user's perspective. Again, the goal is to make a really great candidate relationship management tool so that we can build the data set so we can do a lot more things with the data on the other end. So and if you really think about it, what we have here is a tool that has the job company name, the job title, the job description, the job page URL, the user's profile, their resume, their cover letter, and then what the outcome was. And so now what we can do is we are building this really rich data set on what the outcomes are of applicants. And so we can ultimately build a really, really great matching engine, I think, which is going to be really powerful. And then hopefully this also evolves into, people today, recruiters are going to LinkedIn to find candidates. But everyone that's using GigHQ today is actively searching, is actively in the market today, is a much more responsive, targeted, and eager candidate to get to the opportunity. So hopefully that'll be an avenue that we can pursue as well.